Welcome back to Triple Threat Wrestling. I'm your host, MVP. This is the Raw recap for February 9th, 2026. Raw came to us from Cleveland, Ohio, and that's important because that's where Logan Paul is from, and they definitely did a good job reminding us many times tonight. Becky Lynch opens up the show, and she's upset and felt disrespected because earlier in the day it showed backstage CM Punk and AJ Lee walking into the arena, and Becky Lynch was right behind them and threw a fit, saw them, and she wasn't having it. Um, so AJ Lee comes out and says she's not there for Becky. She's there to root on and support Maxine Dupree, who has a big match against Natty. But Becky doesn't believe her and makes fun. It makes fun of AJ, makes fun of her eyebrows, and calls her a Chihuahua. And then AJ Lee then turns it around and starts making fun of her about all the times she slighted her because her Elimination Chamber win and her mixed tag back at WrestlePalooza, and then also her having a hand in her losing the Intercontinental title. But she's like, yeah, you won the title back, so water under the bridge. And Becky just wasn't having it. I don't know. The reaction is just losing it. She's like, what can I do to get rid of you? What can I do? We're going to have a match. And AJ's like, I haven't had a singles match in over 10 years. So if we were supposed to have this match, I want you to put your title on the line. She's like, no, I'm not putting my. It won't get done unless you put the title line. And she puts the title on the line. First off, I think this was a wasted AJ Lee appearance. Um, I didn't think it had to happen until Elimination Chamber, and I definitely didn't see AJ going for the Intercontinental title at Elimination Chamber. I thought she would be returning at Elimination Chamber, it being in Chicago, but nonetheless, we have the seeds for this match, and yeah, definitely thought this really should have been a WrestleMania match. The Usos retained the tag titles, defeating Alpha Academy, hitting the 1D on Otis, and sign him a respect after the match is over. And Jimmy Uso cuts a promo about Elimination Chamber, about how he wants Jay to win the Chamber and then win in main event WrestleMania again. Um, I didn't really like this. It kind of unevens the because they're in a tag team, they're tag team champions, and now you want your. I mean, granted, Jimmy he's gonna cheer on his brother. His brother's biggest fan, but you're in a tag team and you're trying to up Jay's stock in this tag team, and just grounds for disaster at the end. Liv comes out with Dominic, still undecided about who she's going to face. Friday she teased Jade. Tonight she's teasing Stephanie. And Stephanie comes out. And then, she goes back and forth with Dominic in Spanish. So, any of you non Spanish speaking people had no idea what they're saying. And Stephanie says she hopes Liv picks her so she can kick her ass. And then Liv says she's going to take her time and then calls Stephanie a puta. Then slaps Dom. Um, I'm just hoping somewhere in between Raquel Rodriguez gets another match and defeats Stephanie Vakir for the title, because this WrestleMania match needs to happen between Liv and Raquel. Rhea Ripley advanced to the Elimination Chamber, defeats Ivy Nile and Lyra Valkyria. Lyra Valkyria hits the Nightwing on Ivy, and just as she's going for the pin, Rhea hits Lyra with a running knee, then nails her with Riptide for the win. Ivy, I was very impressed with Ivy Niles showing here. She really just showed out, and they're not really doing much with her. Just kind of feeding into the wolves, but just this performance, and not the ones against like Maxine, but she's had a couple in the past where she's really showing some good stuff out there. So there's them actually doing something with Ivy down in the future. Backstage segment with Judgment Day in the clubhouse. Dom is still selling, getting slapped in the face by Stephanie. He goes and tells Finn, tells him to cheer up. JD's coming back, and they can go soon, be a tag team again, and go for the tag titles. Finn is annoyed at Dominic, and he still wants the World Heavyweight Championship. Dom looks at Finn and says, "It all the talk about Punk and versus Roman Reigns, your window might have closed." Finn feels disrespected. So just planting the seeds for a Mania match between Finn and Dom for the Intercontinental title. Dom saying, "Hey, go for the tag titles." So you're no threat to me in my Intercontinental title, but it's really looking this way for a Mania match. Michael Cole is in the ring to interview CM Punk. And before he can, Finn Balor shows up and interrupts it. Finn is fed up with being, and in his Irish accent, it's pretty funny, an afterthought. Fed up with being an afterthought. Well, he's so Finn's fed up with being an afterthought and challenges CM Punk for Elimination Chamber. Adam Pearce comes out with security and says, "No, no, no. We talked about this. No, 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 no. This isn't happening. No, no. Finn, I have to ask you to leave the ring. Otherwise, security will escort you out." As that happens, Punk's music hits and he gets on the mic. You're not an afterthought. You're the first thought. And you don't deserve a title match. You deserve an ass kicking. And they go back and forth. And now Finn wants a match at Elimination Chamber. No, CM Punk wants the match at Elimination Chamber, and Adam Pearce isn't having it. He's like, "No, we're not risking the main event of WrestleMania." And Punk's like, "I'm the champion. I should have some say. You should make this match." And after a little back and forth, Pearce is like, "Nothing I can do is make this match official." Afterwards, Cole is still in the ring and, to interview Punk. And he's just like, "What are you doing? Why are you jeopardizing the WrestleMania match?" And Punk is just like, "I'm not jeopardizing. I'm building something here. I'm chasing greatness. I'm trying to be a fighting champion." And he's just selling this match at Elimination Chamber, basically turning a little filler feud into something pretty good. Another banger between him and Finn Balor. And we all know Punk's not losing this match, but I definitely wouldn't mind seeing another banger between Punk and Finn Balor. Natty versus Maxine Dupree is a double count out. Man, the action spills out to ringside, and Natty full in with her this new MMA gimmick, a lot of hammer fists as she gets on top of Maxine Dupree onto the announce table, and then puts her in the sharpshooter, and um, AJ Lee's music hits to save Maxine from Natty. And as AJ Lee is helping Maxine to the back, here comes Becky with a little cheap shot attack. And this is all to set up their match at Elimination Chamber more. You see this coming a mile away. But I do also say, when AJ makes the save, Natty just kind of just runs away. It's like, why couldn't Natty get in on the action of attacking AJ Lee? But this is here to just build more for that Becky and AJ Lee match. Javon Evans and the original El Grande Americano defeat Rhea and Bravo. And ladies and gentlemen, the spot of the night, and quite possibly the spot of the year, and for sure, definitely going to win some awards. Um, we have Bravo, the blue one, Bravo, um, flying off the top rope, maybe going for a headbutt, and then out of nowhere, from another turnbuckle, we have Javon Evans catching him midair for an OG cutter. So great that they about 9 times replayed it. It was awesome. After the match, Kaiser Americano attacks Gable Americano and Evans. Teases pulling off the mask, and then Gable gets the upper hand and teases he's going to pull Kaiser's mask, and Kaiser gets away. Further building the eventual what should be a mask versus mask match at WrestleMania between Kaiser and Gable Americano. Gunther's in the back with Saxton predicting that he's going to win the Elimination Chamber and go on to WrestleMania and walk out WrestleMania as the new WWE Champion. And then we have next week 2 qualifying matches: Gunther versus Javon Evans versus Dom Mysterio, and we have Natty versus Bailey versus Asuka. Your main event: LA Knight defeated Penta and Austin Theory. It was teased in a backstage segment earlier that Logan Paul and Bronson Reed were going to get involved. Logan Paul being a dick to Adam Pearce, saying, "What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it?" Another FAFO moment, if you will. Down the stretch, we have Penta taking a dive over the announcer's table, effectively eliminating him from this match. And then we have Logan Paul and Bronson Reed interfere and hit a tsunami in LA Knight. All the while, the masked man comes out and attacks Austin Theory and hits him with a curb stomp. And then he jumps the barricade, and you have Logan Paul and Bronson Reed chase him off. And left in the ring, LA Knight and Austin Theory. And Knight hits Austin Theory with a BFT and wins the match. And he is the second man to qualify for the men's elimination chamber. And that was your Raw. I thought it did a good job at building up elimination chamber, way better than they did Royal Rumble. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. We drop content, wrestling content for you all the time. And in the description, there's a link tree to all our affiliates. You want NFL merchandise, you want NBA merchandise, you want WWE merchandise. You can get them, and you should get them. And it will cost you nothing, but it'll throw a little kickback to us at your Triple Threat Wrestling. And for that, I'm out. I'm MVP. You're not. See you later.